Family leadership as a newly married person. When we took the break, we were talking about the power and place of adjustment, which we have seen that it is that ability and willingness to find the meeting point. Because if you do not adjust, if you don't have that ability, if you don't exercise that capacity, and you don't have that willingness, then you end up becoming rigid. And when you become rigid as a family leader, you become toxic. And when you become toxic as a family leader, you become repellent. And when you become repellent, the very people you're supposed to lead move away from you. That's where we ended. Now, as we come back, I was trying to look at social media, and a number of people are following, and I want to particularly highlight just two of them. Liz Acham, alumnite, Mugabe. Liz is quoting the football game. This was a statement we made here. Yes. The football game, which is a one-off, is standing in the way of a marriage, which is for a lifetime. And then she tried to pull the foot of Liverpool fans. She says, I hope Liverpool fans have heard. And one Liverpool fan, Big Sam Nkurunziza Emmanuel, says, yes, we have heard. So what time is the match? I don't know how to interpret that. But anyway, this leads me now to asking you, Martin.
Yes.
This family leadership we are talking about, is it something that is learnable, or it is only a talent that a few privileged people were born with?
Thank you very much. Of course, leadership is learnable. Leadership is learnable. It's not natural, so you have to be deliberate. You have to be deliberate and make steps to learn. You have to take steps to learn how to lead. You have to learn steps on how to lead.
Okay.
But sometimes situations in our lives, they also train us. Maybe that's why sometimes they say they attempt to make it natural. When you look at David as a leader who led the army of Israel against the Philistines.
You mean the King David in the Bible?
David in the Bible.
Okay.
Some of the things came natural to him because of the training he had got as a shepherd boy. So sometimes the environment that we grow in also can help to shape us to be better and good leaders of our families. For example, of course, I'm not guaranteeing you, but when you grow up from a family where there's father and mother, and they are all there, they have a good family, good marriage relationship, the chances are, if you grow up in such a family, the chances are that you are going to also be a good family person.
Maybe much more because of the model, the role models you have seen, exposure to a good version of this thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, but you know, majorly you have to take a personal, deliberate effort to learn how to lead. Because just like I have told you, that you have a vision, you visualize the kind of family you want.
Yes.
And therefore you have to prepare yourself. You have to prepare yourself to lead that family so that that vision doesn't fail.
Yes.
So you have to learn it. You have to train yourself. You have to seriously take action on it. You have to think about it. You have to learn.
Yes.
You have to go all the effort that you can go to learn to be a good family leader.
So in other words, we shouldn't give up. If we are trying to lead our families and we are failing, we shouldn't say things like, anyway, even my father was a bad one. I think it is hereditary. My poor leadership skills are a result of the family I was brought up in, the schools I went to, and so on and so forth. It is a skill like any other, and we can learn to do it better. We can perfect it with time.
Absolutely.
And that leads me, therefore, curiously, to know if there is a newly married man, and anyway, any other man at any stage of life, any stage of marriage, any stage of family leadership, who would like to get better in their own family leadership skills, what are the avenues through which that kind of a man can learn how to lead his family well?
One of the practical ways is to, as you grow up, even if you are not yet married, please try to watch families. Take keen interest in other families. And if you know that you want to be, if you want to make a family when you grow up, you know how children are asked what they want to be, and you know they say many things.
For me, I wanted to be a soldier when I was young, but it was for a bad reason. Later, I changed my mind.
Somebody who annoyed you.
Oh, there were 5 of them. There were 5 of them.
You wanted to deal with them. So if you want to be a family man, take keen interest to watch families in your community. And the reason why it is important to visualize the family you want to build, because as you watch families in your community, you'll be able to say, I think I want to build a family which is like so and so's. So you will be able to see the families you want your family to look like, and the ones
you don't want your family to look like. Yes.
That is very practical. You don't need any money to do that.
Yes.
You just watch. Just watch, visit,
yes.
And talk. If you admire a certain family and you admire a certain family leader, please, you can even approach them and have a conversation with those people.
Yes.
So don't fear them. Just look for such people and talk to them. So you take a personal effort to learn, and that is one of the ways that you can learn. 2, I have said it, that you can watch a family and then you see, but you can also approach people who have experience in marriage, in family leadership for a long time. Have a conversation with them. Talk to them.
Yes.
How did they do it? Ask them questions. How did they achieve the things they have achieved? How are they able to build?
But you see, Martin, the challenge we have today, nowadays, is that most, not only, let me first of all talk about the young people. Most young people, they spend all their time, 100%, with their fellow young people. Singles spend all their time going out partying, going out with their fellow singles. So they never spend any time with these people you are talking about. They never listen to them. They never learn from them. They never ask them questions. They are always with their fellow single men and women. I think that leaves the gap concerning what you are talking about.
Absolutely. And it's a big challenge in our generation now.
Yes.
That's why you see statistically now, marriage failures, divorces are increasing, very many today, because we do not have. It is important to always have someone in your life who is one step ahead of you,
even 3 steps,
even five,
even
or
10.
Whatever.
Yes.
At least at the bare minimum, have someone who is, because you learn from them. But if you have only people who are at the same level with you, you don't learn many, you stop learning.
So if you're the best in a certain group you belong to, you better change the group soon.
Absolutely, you better leave that group.
Yes.
Because you are no longer learning anything new.
Okay, unless you're there to only be a teacher.
People are only praising you, and, that kind of thing.
Yes.
And so it is important to look for these experienced people who have been married and talk to them.
Number 3.
And stop this talk of, we shall learn on the job. Yes, you learn on the job, but when you already have some information.
Yes.
Read books on marriage. It is also one important aspect that can help you to be a better family leader. As a man, read books on leadership. Leadership as a subject, even if it is not necessarily about family leadership.
Yes. Because the principles are the same.
The principles are the same.
Principles, things like a leader is somebody who serves those he leads.
He leads.
That's the principle of leadership, whether it is in a family or in business or in politics and governance or anywhere in the community, that's a principle. If they say leadership is not position, it is action, then that's a principle. Whether it is in politics and governance, business and economy, arts, culture, sports, entertainment, or family, it still applies. So read books not only on marriage, but also on leadership generally as a subject.
And more importantly, read the Bible. Read the Bible, because the Bible also has some good aspects that will help you as to be able to lead your family.
Why are you singling it out among all the books?
The Bible is the word of God, and God is the greatest father.
Okay.
Even
and
when
the greatest leader.
The greatest father, the greatest leader. And when Jesus is teaching us to pray, say, our Father who is in heaven. And we see God leading the nation of Israel from Egypt to the promised land. We see all aspects of leadership. Communication, God communicates. God is patient with his people, but also he metes out punishment. He shows justice.
All that is leadership.
Yeah, he brings out, he brings justice. He gives opportunity for the leader to speak on behalf of the people, and then he listens.
Isn't that one of the areas where the newly married family leaders actually struggle, whereby you find either this young family leader knows how to use the cane, because that's how his mother or his father did it, or you find that he is always caressing and giving carrots and never does the punishment. I think that's one challenge also.
Absolutely, leadership has to, you have to balance.
Yes.
You have to balance like God did. God
rewards and sanctions.
God would reward, sanction, give justice, met out punishment.
Yes.
So he would, and even he would negotiate.
Yes.
Negotiate.
Come, let's reason together.
Yeah, give time for somebody to change.
Probation.
Probation for somebody to change.
Yes.
So all this you have to learn when you read your Bible, when you read other books, when you talk to people who have experienced these things, you will find all this in their conversation. All the things they have been able to go through, all the things they have done, you will learn all these things. And I always say that the best way to learn how to lead is to lead. Yes. So when you are given opportunity to lead, lead.
Yes.
As you grow up, those who still have opportunity to lead, you aspire.
All right.
Get into positions of leadership, because those positions will prepare you to lead even your family.
Okay.
Yes.
I can see some people responding to the program online.
Yes.
And Liz here says, look for experienced men and learn from them. That's what we said. So she asks, what if the married men look for the young unmarried men and help them sometimes? Let me be sure I got it right. What if the married men look for the young unmarried men and help them? Okay, in other words, the married men should look for those young unmarried men and see how to help them. So she goes on and says, sometimes grooms to be are bombarded with a lot of advice just a few weeks to the wedding, and I doubt that helps them much. So she ends up saying that the men's forums you were talking about, like Fathers Union and others, should start the fireplace meetings again. I agree with you. Martin, we need to be wrapping this up. We just have about 2 or 3 minutes to bring this to the close. As we bring this to the close, after all these years of your own marriage, as a married man, as a family leader, 7 years getting into the 8th year now, what would you say are your top three lessons that you have learned that you can very briefly in 1 minute share about leading a family?
Number one, step up all the time.
Step up all the time.
There is no other leader of your family apart from you.
Yes. Yes.
So whatever challenge, whatever is there, step up and lead your family.
Number two,
all the time. Trust God You know, it can be tough. You are new, this is a new area. You have, like she has observed, you have a lot of information. You don't know sometimes what to do,
Yes.
but trust God. As a man who believes in God, I believe that when you trust God, He will see you through. And the last lesson is that as a leader, if you fail all other things, don't fail in communication. Communicate with the people you lead, communicate with your wife, communicate with your children. Whatever it is, let the communication lines remain open. Because normally some of the conflicts begin from the area of communication. Yes.
Okay. So, let's bring this to a close. Why don't you look straight into that camera and offer your parting shots to especially a newly married man we were focusing on today, who could be ready to adjust and learn family leadership going forward in less than a minute?
I want to conclude like this. One of the things that keeps a marriage and a family is commitment. You are already there. You are married. Regardless of the reasons why you got married, make your marriage work. Be committed to that marriage. Don't come up with excuses. Make the marriage work. Be committed. Work on it. Regardless of the situation, regardless of what you have found in the marriage, it is cowardly for you as a young family leader to run away from your place of leadership. That is what God has given you. Make sure you step up,